Oh, it's finally weekend. I have some time to play some games. Oh wait, what's that? There's a new League of Legends pass, and Fortnite pass, and a new character in Genshin Impact, and I have to buy the deluxe edition of Diablo 4 to play 4 days earlier than the official release. Uh, I sure love modern gaming. Welcome to the wonderful world of modern gaming, where everything cool costs money. Be prepared to get bombarded with skins, characters, and DLCs. It's almost like playing a game of how much money we can make. But hey, remember the good old days when games were fun, like Pac-Man, Tetris, or Space Invaders? You know, when a game didn't require you to sell your soul to our corporate overlords just to have a good time. But it wasn't all fun and games. Let's not forget the arcade days, when games like Street Fighters and Mortal Kombat were designed to be so difficult that we had to keep feeding the quarters into the machine. And now we have dog patterns, the latest manipulative techniques that the game developer use to suck every penny out of us. So sit back, relax, and get ready to empty your pockets for the latest and the greatest in modern gaming. And before we start, please like and subscribe. What are dog patterns? Dog patterns are not exclusive to video games. They are manipulative user interface design techniques that trick users into taking actions they might not otherwise choose to take. These patterns can be found in websites, apps, and software, and are used to mislead or deceive users into making decisions that benefit the company rather than the user. They're like the pushy salespeople who follow you around the store even though you just want to browse in peace. And naturally, the video game industry couldn't resist the temptation of using them too. As much as I love to bash on the horse armor that we all know and love to hate, still, as a matter of fact, Maple's story pioneered the microtransactions, introducing a ticket system that felt like a carnival game. You never know what you were going to get. And with how successful it was, it did not take a long time till other companies followed suit. As technology progressed, so did the evolution of gaming. With the emergence of smartphones, a new genre was born, freemium, which allowed gamers to download and play games for free. However, with a plethora of in-app transactions available, players are often enticed to spend real money to purchase virtual currencies to pay for various in-game perks. Need to revive your character? Money. Want extra life so you can keep playing? Give us money. And let's not forget about buying virtual items and upgrades to breeze through levels or give you a competitive advantage against other players in the freemium genre. This business model has attracted a wider audience since there is no entry fee, and the games are designed to make people play as much as possible, which ultimately means increasing the chances to spend real money. The early adopters of this genre were games like Farmville, Temple Run, and the most infamous of them all, Candy Crush, and Angry Birds, which initially began as a paid game but then transitioned into a freemium model later on. Over time, microtransactions and DLCs have become a normalized and even integral parts of the gaming industries. Nowadays, a lot of games are announced hand in hand with the DLCs planned, and other games are primarily designed as live service games for profits first. The gaming industry have become a cash cow, milking every last drop of its players to maximize profits through any means necessary. The corporate world has mastered the art of manipulating consumer behavior to encourage them and trick them spending more money. Over the years, they refined and evolved these techniques, all driven by the insatiable motivation of greed and gluttony. Here are some recent examples of how these tactics have been employed. The gacha craze. Gacha games originated in Japan. The names come from the sound that a vending machine does to get a randomized toy once you put a coin in it. And they have exploded in popularity thanks to Genshin Impact. Once they've realized all they need to do is to have a good looking game with a decent gameplay and make the focus of the game is to collect as many attractive and sexy characters as possible. So, how does Genshin work? All items are categorized under a star system. Anything less than a 4 star is absolute garbage, and it's just there to upload the game. There are 4 and 5 stars weapons and characters, and while you can play the game completely free, if you want to get the weapons and the characters you want, you will have to spend real money. And in order to lose track of how much you're actually spending, money will turn into Genesis crystals, and then you turn these into either intertwined fates or acquaint fates. And here's a brief explanation of how you can use these. There are silent banner, a promotional banner, and a weapon banner with featured limited time weapons. You use acquaint fates to wish on the standard banner and intertwined fate to wish on the promotional banner, as well as the weapon banner. Then you have soft pity, which is after a certain amount of wishes, your chances of getting 5 star will increase slightly, or hard pity at 90 wishes that will guarantee a 5 star. But hold your horses, it might not be the 5 star you want, since it's a 50-50 chance you either get the limited time character or a random 5 star, which will make the next 5 star you get on the promotional banner the guaranteed character you need. Except if you're wishing on the standard banner, then it's always random. And at the end of it all, you'll be tens, if not hundreds, of dollars down with a nice warm thank you and looking forward for you to do it all over again for the next character. Just ensure to always have the mindset that you always have the chance of getting what you want in the next role. Genshin still has more in its arsenal, such as changing money into a virtual currency. The currency is always either more or less than you need, creating digital scarcity by having limited time items, and an energy system that is there to limit the duration you can play, unless you want to scuff some money to play more. Randomized loot to encourage you to spend more money rather than just buying what you want outright, aka digital gambling, which was popular a long time before Genshin. Check notes, CSGO cases, and the one that brought it to the mainstream, Overwatch. Overwatch was released as a full-price game and popularized digital gambling in the gaming industry in the form of loot boxes. Why let people buy what they want when you could get them to spend a whole lot more money for that amazing new skin by putting it into a randomized loot with abysmal odds? While you could earn loot boxes for free, if you wanted to increase your chances of getting the skin you actually want, you had to spend real money. And if that is not enough, they had events with limited time skins to get the clock ticking, reminding you with every second that the skin you want will be gone, playing on the fear of missing out, or FOMO for short, to encourage you buying loot boxes. Another example is the rotating shop that changes every day with different items to keep you logging in daily to check if the item you want is finally on the rotation, which was popularized by Fortnite. But that's not the only thing that Fortnite popularized and brought to the mainstream. There was one more thing. Fortnite Battle Pass. Battle Pass was pioneered by Dota 2, brilliantly tying it into their major tournament, the International. While you can earn in-game rewards, players also contributed to the prize by purchasing the Battle Pass, which made it very successful. Other companies took notes, and it came into full effect with Fortnite's tremendous rise and success. Now every online game must have a Battle Pass. Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Genshin Impact, League of Legends, and Rocket League, to just name a few. While live service games depends on Battle Passes to keep pumping out new content, patents and manipulations that is used in these Battle Passes is getting out of hand. Since Battle Passes ensure you play the game every day, which builds habits by making playing the game a daily routine, and habits are difficult to break once they are formed. And the more and longer you play, the chances of spending money also increases. Another aspect of Battle Passes is that if you don't finish the Battle Pass in its period, you will either have to settle for not getting all that you paid for, or spend even more money to buy levels and complete the Battle Pass. Imagine this for a moment. You find a new game, play it for hours, learn the mechanics and the interactions in the game to get good, and then you get absolutely obliterated by a rando who barely knows anything about the game just because he used the overpowered skill of opening his wallet. Pay to win is nothing new to the world of gaming. It is a very simple concept. You give the studio money and you win the game without any real effort or skill. Just like when EA released Star Wars Battlefront 2, and to get the good characters, you had to spend money. Otherwise, you better enjoy the hundreds of hours of grind to get one character. And what FIFA has been doing for years to players in the Ultimate Team mode, where it isn't enough that you have to pay a full price for the game every year, but you have to gamble your money on randomized player packs with different power levels, even for the same player. And if the player contract finishes, you sure better hope you get lucky to get him again to renew his contract. Otherwise, he's gone. And this cycle is repeated with every new edition, since whatever you unlock in this team mode for whatever edition does not really matter for the next one. And recently, pay to win got so egregious with the throning of Diablo Immortal as the new king of pay to win, where as a free-to-player, you can never dream of competing with a pay-to-win player, to the point that someone paid over $100,000 and got way too powerful, so his rating got so high that he stopped getting PvP matches. Pay to win paints a picture of a power fantasy that is not gained by effort and a mastery level, but rather by paying money to skip all the steps required in a journey to be stronger than everyone else, which in the long run is frustrating to players who actually invested their time and effort to get good at what they do in the game. The problematic natures of dark path's manipulative techniques can be especially insidious, as they are often difficult to recognize and even harder to break away from once players become entrenched in these systems. The dopamine-inducing nature of modern gaming, with its constant rewards and addictive gameplay loops, can slowly build up habitual behavior through daily and weekly activities, battle passes, and limited time events. This is especially problematic when these games are directed toward children, who can be especially vulnerable to developing conditional habits based on FOMO and digital gambling, and these games could be their gateway drug into these habits in their adult life. In addition, kids racking up enormous bills by making in-game purchases without their parents' knowledge or consent, and these companies rejecting to refund that money and outright completely lock the accounts if you go to your credit card company and ask for refunds. Like the Fortnite lawsuit that Epic Games are being hit by 520 million in fines by the FTC, and 245 millions of these are said to be refunded to the customers. These refunds are mainly going back to the players who were charged for unwanted cosmetics and were met with account locks if they tried to dispute these charges with the credit card companies. And there's another aspect, which is the unfairness in game design, where people who spend the real money can be better and stronger than free-to-play players, which takes a lot of the fun out of the game and can be frustrating, and leaving these players who are not paying real money feeling left out and out of the full experience as the other players. Like how Hogwarts Legacy made it so if you pre-ordered the game, you could play 3 days earlier than the official release. And more recently, the new Diablo 4, if you're willing to spend 20 more euros on pre-ordering the deluxe edition, you will get a 4 days head start, which is a huge advantage in an ARPG game. Other than the FOMO part, where everyone who wants to play the game but doesn't want to buy the deluxe edition will be stuck watching people on streams till the actual official release date. In short, the use of these manipulative game design practices can have a profound impact on players and their experience, especially children, who may become more vulnerable to developing harmful habits and spending excessive amounts of money on these games. It is crucial for game developers and industry regulators to consider the ethical implication of these practices and to work towards creating a more balanced and fair gaming environment for all players. The modern gaming experience may seem bleak, but there are ways we as players can take actions to make difference. While voting with our wallets may not always be the most effective, since a lot of people will still buy and pay money in these games, raising awareness about the shady practices used by corporations to our friends and communities can help to create a more informed and conscious player base. However, the most significant impact we can have is through government actions and regulations, as seen in Belgium and Netherlands, banning loot boxes. Although regulations can be slow to pass, and corporations are quick to find new ways to monetize their games, pushing for a long-term solutions are our best bet in the fight against these manipulative practices. Meanwhile, supporting indie titles that prioritize the fun aspect of gaming and telling a compelling story such as Hi-Fi Rush, Hades, and Cult of the Lamb, to just name a few, as well as single-player games like God of War, Elden Ring, and the recently released Resident Evil 4 remake, can provide a refreshing break from the endless cycle of monetization and manipulation found in many modern live service games. In the end, the goal should be to keep gaming a fun and enjoyable hobby rather than turn it into a second job that drains our time and money. By taking actions and supporting games that prioritize players' experience over profit, we can help create a more ethical and fulfilling gaming landscape for everyone. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you have anything, please suggest. I stream every day at twitch.tv/XP. And until next time, ciao.